Morning, guys. Traffic and the waves are good. Let me close this before I get in an accident. Big trucks. I got a bigger truck than you, man. Watch out. So anyways, guys, I wanted to talk about last night I came home from work and I saw a video on Crypto Wealth talking about what potential problems we could have with these smart contract apps like P3D, and what kind of legal troubles that could be in the headwinds. I kind of had to laugh at a lot of it in consideration of the fact that, well, firstly, let's talk about what law is. The idea that we need to worry about legal troubles would require somebody out in this space that's running a contract that was out to actually harm others. Because anybody who had a clue would understand that that's all the law is. The law is just out there to make sure that nobody does harm unto others. This is why, well, I want to say why justice is blind, but by no way, shape, or form is it. The idea that we need to worry about the regulators regulating us, I find hilarious, humorous, not relevant. And the reason I say this is because it's all too clear that the regulators are more concerned about regulating the people that have a problem with them than they are about those that are causing the problems. If the regulators were doing their job, there wouldn't be hundreds of ounces of paper being sold for each ounce of gold on the market. If the regulators were doing what they were supposed to be doing, we wouldn't have a debt that exceeds any potential opportunity to pay it off. We wouldn't, if we had regulators that did their job, 2008 would have put people in jail. The idea that we need to be afraid of regulators is a crock of shit. The regulators need to be afraid of us. If Trevon James and Craig Grant did anything illegal, they would be in jail. The last thing those two guys ever intended to do was to, well, I don't know about Craig, but I do not believe Trevon James was out to hurt anybody, knowingly, particularly. Craig Grant, that's another story. Because I don't know what that guy thinks. I don't know what Trevon thinks. And I especially don't know what fucking regulators think, because in all honesty, as far as I'm fucking concerned, they are afraid of us. And if any of you here in this space think differently, well then get the fuck out. Because what it comes down to is what we're doing here is we're redefining, in my opinion, in the specific virtual deposit contract space, where I know my Ethereum is, well, there is no virtual deposit contract out there that I can say I like. The idea that P4 is, you know, P4 at the party is probably the closest thing to it, but when it's attached to P5, where I don't understand how Tony can't think that, you know, he's a CTO and whatever legal advice he got about P5, where 99% of the dividends are paid out, who in their right mind would think they'd ever get paid back in any amount of time, any you know, a decent amount of time? That P5 was just a blatant spit in the face of anything having to do with legal. I just can't imagine anybody who had a brain who would advise Tony that P5 has anything to do with legal. It's a blatant, that 1%, I mean, dude, you know, and the fees he's getting there in P5, I mean, if he had, I don't know, yeah, Tony, I'm not happy. So that's not my point. My point is to address Crypto Wealth and the idea that we need to worry about potential upcoming legal troubles. Why all this traffic, man? Is not what we need to worry about. What we need to worry about is pretty much nothing, in my opinion. I'm more concerned about how, when, and if any regulators come into this DApp smart contract space, that they are in full knowing of whatever they're going to try and come at anybody for, because, you know, there's really nothing here that legally could threaten anybody's well-being, because the only harm that's truly being done is what the regulators are doing. If we're really going to look at the definition of harm, what's happening in the virtual deposit contract space is a bunch of smart people realizing they're getting screwed. That's how Bitcoin came along. And Bitcoin now, fuck you, Bitcoin. You are getting ICE, Intercontinental Exchange, the world's biggest fucking trader. Trader. What does that word mean? Traitor, right? I respelled it, right? But that's what they are. They're traders. And those fucking traders are gonna fucking take Bitcoin and bring it into mass adoption because Microsoft and Starbucks are gonna be a part of Bakkt and allow you to use the cryptocurrency held in Bakkt to buy and sell what? Fucking coffee? Dude, I mean, seriously, that is just so obvious that a very, very, very small group of people in Bitcoin are manipulating a very, very large group of fucking idiots who are fucking fanboys and fuckheads and not realizing how being involved with Bitcoin and being a Bitcoin maximalist is the equivalent of saying the Fed is a great thing. The Federal Reserve is a great thing and made the world a great place, when all it did was put a chokehold on human progress, just like any fucking entity does that controls value and fucking how people transact. Again, I just wanted to say that Crypto Wealth, you know, I like the guy's content. He's very mellow. The last thing you want to do is listen to somebody like me, because guys like Crypto Wealth are what the whole world is made out of. Decent, normal, non-harming human beings. And for what it's worth, they're always right. But when you're right, how often does the world fucking change? Huh? Are you gonna tell me the dreamers, the outcasts, the fucking recluses, those people are the ones that fucking don't change the world? You know, the rebels? The rebels are the ones that don't change the world, or the motherfuckers who are always right? Are those the people that change the world? Who the fuck are you? I'm not happy right now because I see way too much gaming going on, and I really, really, really want to see a virtual deposit contract, a real one, fixed to a coin's price. I don't give a fuck, even if it's goddamn the biggest pyramid scheme out there, EOS. I don't care. I want to see a virtual deposit contract that's super simple, not tied to anything fucked up, that the price is pegged, you know, and could easily override any institution claiming any kind of harm to people in this space. There's just way too many drugs going on in this space. And when I say drugs, I mean things that are affecting your endorphin and greed and parts of your emotional state that are impossible to satiate. Just realize one thing, you know, all the things you want, all your greed, all your fucking ideas of grandeur or philanthropy insofar as making the world a better place, those are all bullshit ideas. Emotions, rather. Bullshit emotions. The only real emotion that you have that you can satiate is your appetite. And as soon as you can satiate that, then you can have the opportunity to really make a change, because you'll have the experience to understand what going from the greed or the philanthropy or all those crazy emotions that got you into this space to something that is substantiated. Yeah, I'm going on and on. You know why? Because the waves are really good and I haven't been in the water since the last time I saw you. Which has been, what is it, 2 days now? No, Saturday I was in the water. So it's been 1 day I've been in the water, dude. So I'm going to go get better. I'm going to have my medicine. And I'll come back and look forward to you guys telling me how much of a knucklehead I am. So like I said, you guys, legal troubles are bullshit. Bring the legal troubles, because that's attention. There is not one thing wrong with what's going on in this space, because nobody here is blatantly trying to screw anybody over. Or at least knowingly. This is why Trevon and CG will never really do any time for BitConnect. And even more importantly, you know, about BitConnect, you know, which is why we all know each other, the idea of residual income, you know, or the idea of a world not full of inflation but deflation is what we're all for, and I think that it's coming. I just hope it does in my lifetime on a large scale. Right now, I'm in the smallest little fucking community there is, and I couldn't be happier with what's going on, with all the experimenting and all the participation. It's really wonderful to see the potential growth of this, but I really look forward to just a simple paradigm or VDC, a virtual deposit contract, that is just something that has a fixed price to the Ethereum. That's the dividends are exclusively based off volume. You get in, you get out, you know exactly what's going to happen. There ain't no questions of anything except beyond the participation of other individuals. I think there's way too much, way too many people trying to outsmart the next person, and we've kind of reached a threshold of individuals that will understand and put the time in to get a clue about how FOMO is and all the teams on the FOMO. I mean, dude, it takes a special breed of people. And it's a lot larger than I thought it would be, but it's not going to grow exponentially like, the wheel did when the mass adoption of the wheel or the mass adoption of cars. If we want the VDC space, we need a real VDC, guys. And I know the Team Just is the last thing you're going to do is tell them what to do. And I don't know, after FOMO, I see a little bit of a weakness, and I was really under the conviction that the guys at P3D had a real clear agenda. But to be honest with you, if we're going to be really fearful of anything like legal troubles, I don't think that's as much of a concern as understanding the mission statement of Team Just. Their mission statement and what they're up to, and somebody telling me how the FOMO game was actually a derivative of the Sirius token. Yeah, those guys over there, I think they kind of stumbled on something, and they're... and they did a really good job with FOMO. I tell you what, I don't know if they're going to be able to pull it off again. I hope they do, because what they bring to the game is super exciting and super mind-opening. You guys, I'm real grateful for all that. As are, I'm sure, every other clone out there, or every other person that's doing, every other developer doing virtual deposit contracts or creating games for them. But yeah, guys, I'm. Look at that. Look at that. That's the waves. That is the ocean. That's the ocean over there. Can you see that? I wish I could zoom in on the waves. Oh, it's beautiful. Beautiful. Beautiful, glassy. It doesn't look totally crowded. Nowhere near as crowded as Saturday, at least. Yeah. So, yeah. Let's be more afraid. If we're going to talk about things we need to fear, I think we need to fear the agenda of Manso and Justo. They love the word exit scam, and like, if shit hits the fan, they're totally in a position to run away and not be subjected to any kind of scrutiny. Unlike me, unlike Crypto Wealth, unlike a lot of Heem, Yardy, Faf. I don't know what Faf is done. I think he's going to jump mainstream now because he's seen the potential ramifications of him being held liable. And if he does come back, he'd probably be pretty silent about it. He's not going to sit there and be so two-faced again about what he thinks and what he's going to do with P3D. Where's that UBI token, huh, Faf? Where's that? Dude, did I read that guy or what? Anyways, let's be afraid of what Manso and Justo and Team Just are planning. That's more of a item to be fearful of than a regulator and law. I so look forward to any legal entity trying to say that anything happening in this space is law breaking. It's remarkable that people can be afraid of lawyers and stuff when they clearly have nothing to stand on in this space when it comes to what's going on. Being as it is that the whole space is virtual, you know, and this idea that ICE is going to legitimatize Bitcoin by physically holding coins in Bakkt. So if they're in Bakkt, if your coins are part of the network of Bakkt that they're creating so that you can use crypto to buy coffee, those ones in Bakkt are physically held. But if I hold them somewhere else, they're not physically held. The idea that an intangible token being physically held and them using these definitions, boy, oh boy, bring me to a court of law with jurors of my peers. I would so love that opportunity. The fact that kids or people or anybody is afraid of what legally can happen. Look at that, it is crowded. Can happen in this space is the least of our concerns. Our concern, if we're going to be afraid of anything, are the people in this space. We need to be afraid of each other, and most especially, be afraid of what you see in the mirror and what potentially could come of this. Because every one of us is that guy. Remember that guy? I talk way too much. I'll talk to you later.